Are you interested in becoming a holistic healer? Like a health coach, a naturopath, an herbalist, or a nutritionist, but don't have the time or money for college? The Arukah Holistic Life Academy offers a dual certification program in naturopathic herbalism and holistic life coaching with an emphasis in online business and marketing. Become the healer of your home and your community and build a profitable online health coaching business. Visit www.arukah.com. That is ARUKAH.com. My name is Dallas here, calling you from São Paulo, Brazil. Today we have another wonderful guest joining us, Mayim Vega. Mayim, how are you today?
Shalom. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much.
It's such a pleasure to have you join us today.
Yes, I'm very honored to be here and to speak to your lovely friends online and all around the world, actually, right?
Absolutely. We have a large audience base. Majority is in the United States, but they also trickle into other countries as well. English-speaking people, of course. We don't have the podcast in other languages yet, but it's wonderful. And Mayim, a couple questions for you before we get into the topic of our conversation today. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are and just some of your life? Tell us about that.
Sure. Just a few basics, I guess. My name is Mayim, and I have 7 children of my own, and I also have 2 children that I've inherited, so to speak. And I'm a homeschool mom, and I'm happily married for 18 years. My children range from ages 2 through 18. And so I believe in the power of God to heal us, and that the primary way that he does that is, number one, through faith in him and through faith that he will bring us that way. And number 2, also that he has taught us and given us everything that we need to heal through his creation. And that's pretty much probably the core of my message, is that I've found great holistic health and healing through God, but also through God's creation that he has given us.
Excellent. And how many years have you been studying this type of stuff or been interested in this type of stuff?
So I started Arukah.com, the website, in 2009. And it was, several years before that when I began my journey and I started studying. So the dates are fuzzy. I just remember that 2009 is when we started Arukah.com. Before that, actually, I had a really terrible health crisis, and I thought I was going to die. I asked my husband to rush me to the hospital, and they ran a bunch of tests on me, and I waited there for hours, and I spent thousands of dollars only to have them tell me that there's nothing wrong that they could find with me, and here's some Valium for your pain. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. Like, I feel like I'm going to die. I feel like my head's going to explode or something.
Mm-hmm.
The pain was excruciating. And the doctors with their, medical degrees that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the medical institution and the tests that they ran on me and the equipment that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars at that hospital, they had no answers for me. So I was like, there's something wrong here. Something is broken. And so I just kind of stepped back and I prayed. And I said, God, this is not right. There can't be nothing wrong with me if I think I'm going to die. And I prayed for wisdom, and he gave me wisdom, and he led me to the right sources, to the right information, so that I could understand what was wrong with my body and the way that I was living my life, and find that holistic health and healing. And I do believe in, miraculous healing and faith healing and things like that. But I believe that God doesn't want us to stay there. He wants us to move forward and increase in our knowledge, because, it says in the Bible, my people perish for lack of knowledge. And there is a great thirst for knowledge, a great famine when it comes to knowledge. And I believe that this is in terms of the word of God, but also all sorts of truth, not just the Bible, have been hidden from us, because in reality, God is the source of all truth, not just biblical truth or spiritual truth. He's a source of healing. He's a source of science and mathematics. And, he's the author and creator of all things. And we really need to press in and ask him for knowledge in all things, and he will give us that. So that is what I believe is my mission, my purpose, my destiny, that I have been blessed with that kind of knowledge, this holistic health and healing knowledge. And that is my mission in this world. My calling, so to speak, is to share that with others.
Thank you for sharing a little bit of that, because this is not something that I know very much about. I've, of course, heard about faith healing and other things, but this is really interesting. It's an interesting avenue. Another question, a side question with this, parenting. You said you have 7 children of your own. Amazing. Congratulations. I'm sure that's difficult. Man, I can't imagine. My first son was just born, and it's a lot. How has this journey, this holistic life, impacted being a parent?
I feel like it's all about my children. I've done it. Like, I feel like most of the things that I've done are motivated by my role as a mother. I mean, the first commandment in Judaism, we say that the very first commandment given to mankind is to be fruitful and multiply. And so we have certainly done that. And it's a blessing. It's a blessing to think that this is a commandment, that God wants us to be fruitful and to multiply, especially in today's world where they're like, oh, the world's overpopulated, and people treat children like they're a burden and nuisance, and they treat humanity like we're like a virus on this earth. And while I do believe that we can act like a virus on this earth, we are also created to be the caretakers of this earth. And that's, one of our primary goals is to, or roles, as children of God, is to raise up children who will love and fear God and fill this earth, and take care of it and take care of each other and worship God. So I believe that everything that I do is really motivated by my role as a mother and that role that God has placed me. And so I wanted to be the healthiest me as possible so that I could be there for my children. I mean, if I'm in excruciating pain, how can I be the best mother that I can be? God doesn't want us to be sickly all the time. He wants us to have an abundant life. He wants us to be vibrant. He wants us to walk in that fullness that he has prepared for us, And being a mom also, I want the best for my children. And I knew very quickly on that the pharmaceuticals and all these things that are pushed on us as the only answer is actually a very temporary Band-Aid with tons of side effects. I mean, we just watched a commercial the other day about some new drug that's supposedly, there to heal you of whatever. And it had the symptoms that it heals was very small, but the side effects that it caused were like, it took longer to talk about
the longest part of the commercial was the side effects.
Yeah. And it's this is not God's way.
Yeah.
There's a better way. And when it comes to holistic, it's funny. I talk about how when it comes to pharmaceuticals, oftentimes when you take a pharmaceutical drug, there are side effects that you didn't know about. And then doctors will often have to prescribe you a new drug to take care of the side effects. Whereas when it comes to holistic health and healing, for example, one of my, an herbal formula that's very popular with my students is my herbal calcium tea formula. And what happens with that formula, they take it for one thing, let's say to heal cavities or something like that. And people find that, it's healing them of back pain, it's healing them of, varicose veins, or it's healing them of these things that they didn't even know about. This is God's way. It's like there's another saying in Judaism is, that one commandment follows after another commandment, meaning when you do one good thing, when you do one good deed for someone or for yourself or something like that, naturally more will follow. It's like when you sin, you tend to fall into other sins. Or when you do good, you tend to do more good. It becomes addicting. And very similar when it comes to holistic health and healing. When you, for example, when you optimize your vitamin D levels and you get enough sunshine that your body needs, well, when you do that, you'll start healing of various things, not just one thing. You know what I mean? And that's the same thing with various herbs in nature. And when you clean up your diet, for example, it may help you with, let's say high blood pressure, but it'll also help you with energy levels and libido and, different things. It's wonderful the way God's healing works.
And going into this topic a little bit deeper, you consider yourself an herbalist. What is this? What is this? And what does it take to become a person like this?
So an herbalist, before there were any such things as pharmaceutical drugs or doctors or even dentists, the healers of our day were herbalists. Now, I really don't like this negative connotation of, they were witches and stuff like that. And that's only because, religion has always been tied to the healing arts. Up until now, our day and age, we've tended to, kind of divorce religion from everything, but that's not how it was, before. An herbalist basically was someone who used things in nature to heal people. It could be through, primarily through herbs, and it could be any part. People think herbs is just leaves or something like that. It can be any part of the plant. It can be the root, it can be the bark, it can be the stem, it can be the flower. It can be the essential oil that's derived from the plant. That's part of the herb, right? Any part of the plant. But also traditionally, herbalists also use things like fasting and diet, and of course, very basic things like rest and adequate water and stuff like that. So an herbalist is someone who practices the art and science of holistic health and healing through primarily plants. And that's all Adam and Eve had in the Garden of Eden, and that's all they needed. It was a perfect state, and that's all we had, and that's all we needed. Now, in our day and age, there are other things that that we have to think about that we didn't have, a few hundred years ago. We didn't have EMFs, and we didn't have the same kind of mindset that we do today, where it's all about work, and money, and life was a lot simpler. And so I like to call the kind of herbalism I practice as naturopathic herbalism. And naturopathy is more of a modern word, and it encompasses other things that have arisen through recent times that still fall under the umbrella of holistic health and healing, but that weren't necessarily around, hundreds or thousands of years ago. Things like homeopathy, things like detoxification. We didn't have to detoxify from EMFs or from preservatives and chemicals and things like that before. There are things that we have to be aware of now because of the modernization of our world today, where we have gained a lot of benefits, but we've also lost a lot of things that were important. Does that make sense?
And back to my other question, absolutely, it does. What's another practical way that our audience can work some of this into their lifestyle?
Practical ways, yes, absolutely. So I think I'm going to hit some things that are I think the biggest things, okay, in our day and age. And I don't know how it's like in Brazil. I don't know how life is like in Brazil. So I know in the United States, a lot of people are spending a lot more time indoors, and they're not getting the vitamin D levels that they need. And that, having inadequate vitamin D levels affect our immune system as a whole. A lot of skin problems can be healed through, one of the major factors is through getting adequate sunshine. And sunshine is really the best. I know there's vitamin D, but it can have long-term side effects. Taking an oral vitamin D, the vitamin form. So the best way to get vitamin D is the way that God designed us to be out in nature. And of course, we don't want to be out there long enough so that we can get some sunburn. But for example, if you're out there at the right time, for an hour or as much as your skin can take without getting burned, of course. For me, I can take a lot because I'm darker. So an hour of vitamin of sunshine is worth, like 50,000 IUs of vitamin D. That's a lot. and that can vary depending on, what time of day, how strong the sun is, and your skin color. But it just goes to show the superiority of sunshine. And with the whole thing that happened recently, I don't want to say the word because I don't want to be censored on social media, but with the thing that happened recently and kind of still happening today, people are being stuck indoors, afraid of a microscopic thing that might get them sick, even though it has like an over 99% rate recovery level. But, that's another issue. But what they're doing by staying inside and being scared is they're actually hurting their immune system because they're not getting enough vitamin D. So that doesn't have that much to do with herbalism, except, it's actually the sun that feeds the plants. It's the sun that gives nutrients to the plants, which we take for healing, but we also need the sun. So that's one big thing. Another thing is, and I know this sounds very basic, I'm not even touching herbs yet, but something very basic is getting enough hydration, getting adequate hydration, and also understanding that even in the United States, our water supply is filled with a lot of toxins and a lot of chemicals that are actually harmful for our body. So getting a good filter, like a reverse osmosis filter or a Berkey or something like that, is important, especially if you're trying to heal yourself. It can be a very important factor.
Yeah.
Now, going on to some herbs, I think another important thing also is that people need to start consuming things that are superfoods. So superfoods are foods that have high ORAC values. They're very nutrient dense. And something that, if you want to kind of like a shortcut, is to focus on things that seaweeds are really good. So seaweeds, alfalfa, barley grass, different things. Of course, also spinach, and there's acerola, different things. These are superfoods. So we're not talking about
some super fruits. What are some super fruits?
Well, yeah, acerola, cherry, pomegranates, blueberries, things like that. Now, sometimes these things are hard to come by, but they're really important. And I know, at least in the United States, one source that I like to go to is pacificbotanicals.com. If you go to pacificbotanicals.com and you click on superfoods or shop and then superfoods, there's a big list there. And actually, cacao powder, there's another superfood right there. And there's macaroon. Actually, Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts are a superfood. And I know you're over there in Brazil. So these are foods that are really, really nutrient dense. And, sometimes people say, well, I can't afford to eat like that. Well, you either pay now for good, healthy, nutritious food, or you're going to pay later with pain and disease and hospital and insurance bills and whatnot. So being holistic and healthy, we actually don't have health insurance, not because we can't afford it, but because we don't need it. Our family has not seen or does not need to see medical doctors, and our children, we don't see regular conventional medical doctors. Our children have never taken antibiotics of any kind. We've never needed it because we know just how to be healthy. And if anything comes our way, some kind of infection or cold or flu or anything like that, we know how to deal with it holistically and naturally. And that's the power of living a holistic, healthy life. And there's no side effects in the things that we take. There's no side effects in herbs and getting sunshine and drinking adequate water and trusting in God and having faith in Him, having the right kind of mindset that you need to get through things,
Yeah. This is all very interesting. Can you tell us a little bit more about your website? Can you tell us again, what is the URL? And then a little bit about what you offer on there and some of the things that you discuss?
Yeah, sure. Actually, we just went through a redesign of our website. Some of my students were complaining that it was hard to find things. I was like, okay, I need to fix that. So the website address is arukah.com. So it's arukah.com, arukah.com. A lot of people forget that H there. But it's been around since 2009, but we're constantly, trying to add to it. So I think one of the most important things for anyone is there's a search engine that we've built. If you go to that, so if you go to, it's on there's a menu and it says Arukah search engine, or on the bottom somewhere in the footer, it says just search. And the thing is with Google or things like that, it can't be trusted because Google and other social media outlets, they try to censor good, true, holistic health and healing information because they're influenced by big pharma, and it's basically profit, and you know what they say about the love of money, right? But anyways, so with this search engine that we've built, we only index websites that we trust, that I trust, that I would actually use for my family. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to take it with a grain of salt. That it doesn't mean that you don't have to take things with a grain of salt, but it's still much more trustworthy, much more real than the kind of results that you'll get from Google. Okay, so what you'll see here, you probably won't get on Google. And these are the kinds of sources that I do trust. Now, of course, there's sources that I use that aren't online at all. And that is, of course, available through my courses and through our certification program. We introduce our students to that. So the search engine, and there's also a blog. The blog, we've titled it Herbalist Near Me, because it's kind of like having an herbalist near me. Like if you don't have an herbalist near you, well, I post, as an herbalist, I post various holistic health and healing information, different home remedies on that blog. So that's another feature on the website that I think is valuable. And then of course, I think everyone should sign up for our free herbalism courses. And that's where we basically email all the new material that we have, all the resources, the new events that are happening. There are all kinds of holistic health and healing events that happen. For example, right now there's a summit on fibromyalgia that is going on. So anyone that is suffering from that, that's something that I think I forgot to send that to my list recently. I need to send that out. I'm glad I reminded myself here. So different events and lessons. So the free herbalism courses, they can sign up for that. And then if anyone is interested in becoming, becoming the healer of your home and also your community, and learning naturopathic herbalism professionally and the art of health coaching, with an emphasis on online business and marketing. That is the main business model that we teach. And then that would be, they can learn more about our herbalist certification program with that.
I see here that you offer certification programs. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit more about that part? Because that is interesting.
Yeah. So it's a dual certification program. It's a naturopathic herbalism, which I defined earlier. And then also holistic health and life coaching. And then there's also an emphasis on online business and marketing. So I talked about naturopathic herbalism, right? The health and life coaching is a model. Okay. So the old model is, you go to a doctor, right? Or a therapist, or a dentist, right? And you go to them and they give you a pill, or they do some kind of operation or something like that. They pull your teeth out or whatever, and you're fixed and you go on with your life, right? But it's not true, actually. They give you a pill, you still have the problem because the pills don't solve our problems. And when you get a cavity, it's funny. And I was actually, I coached a dentist recently. I had a dentist come to me, and now I can say, I have dentists learning from me, not just doctors and nurses. A dentist from Mauritius, I forgot how to pronounce that country, really resonated with one of my lessons that I posted on YouTube, where I was talking about, you have a cavity, which means that you have a hole in your tooth, and you go to the dentist and they make a bigger hole in your tooth and then they fill it up. And they're like, okay, well, now it's fixed. And it's like, wait a minute. They didn't address the question of why that hole got there in the first place. Number one. And number two, all of your bones can regrow. Can they not? When you break a bone, it heals together. That means the bone is regrowing, right? Why do we not expect our teeth to regrow? Teeth are bones also. It's funny. Like I said, I homeschool, and one of my children was reading one of the books, And in the book, it said that all of our bones can regrow except our teeth. Now, that's a lie. Our teeth are bones, and it's ridiculous to think that God would make all of our bones to grow except our teeth. That's a lie. It's just that we don't know how to take care of our teeth properly. So I gave her, my herbal calcium tea formula, and I gave her a book to read that I recommended by a holistic dentist who has passed away, but he was a dentist, but he was actually one of the pioneers of the holistic health and healing movement, and a lot of nutritional advice that holistic healers follow today. It came from that dentist, and his name is Weston A. Price. And so I gave her that book, and I also gave her access to an online oral health summit. So I gave her resources that she could, the goal was for her to, she really wanted like one quick fix, all their cavities will be healed and their teeth will regrow. And it's like, no. Holistic health and healing does not work that way. It's a mindset. It's a lifestyle. We have to reprogram and retrain ourselves. We have to dig up that truth that's been hidden from us.
Yeah. Amazing.
I'm sorry. I don't know if I might have strayed. I don't know if I answered.
You did a great job answering that question. Thank you. Thank you. What could be one more thing that you could tell us about your website or about your overall project that you shared with our audience today?
One thing.
I know there's many, but one.
Yeah. Well, I think I'd like to read a quote. Okay, it's by Thomas Edison. He was an inventor, and he's a visionary. And he said this. He said, "The doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will interest his patients in the care of the human frame, in diet, and in the cause and prevention of disease." And that is our vision at Arukah.com, that we will come to this future where doctors are teachers. And that's actually what the word doctor means. The root of that word, and that's where we get the word doctrine from too. Doctrine means teaching, right? And someone who has a doctorate degree, it means they've mastered a field so highly that they're the best teachers in that field, right? But medical doctors today, they are not teachers of holistic health and healing. They're mostly big pharma pushers. There's some great doctors out there. I have some students that are medical doctors, but the truth is, standard medical school, most medical schools do not teach you about holistic health and healing. They teach you to diagnose and treat disease with drugs. And that's not where health and healing comes from. Okay,
that's it's about the aftermath of something already being wrong to fix. Yeah, when we can prevent it, like you're saying. Yeah, I understand.
Exactly. Right. So that is our vision. And I'd say the mission, so that's our vision for the future. And the mission is, as Hippocrates said, Hippocrates, also known as the father of medicine, he said that the greatest medicine of all is teaching people how not to need it. Everyone has a doctor in him or her. We just have to help it in its work. And that's our mission, is to unlock people's inner healer and connect to the true source of all healing, which is the creator of the universe.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for your time today, Mayim, and all the things that you shared for our audience.
Would you like to become the healer of your home and your community and create a profitable online health coaching business? Are you interested in becoming a health coach, a naturopath, an herbalist, or a nutritionist? Do you need help finding the right program for studying holistic health and healing? Or perhaps you already have certification, but you're still not confident enough in healing people and don't know how to build a business that will empower you to have an impact and allow you to leave your regular day job. Are you ready to get a deep and comprehensive picture of holistic health and healing and learn from top healers in our day so that you can stop being stuck in a job or a career you don't have a passion for? Heal yourself and others without the need for pharmaceutical drugs with harmful side effects, doctors, or even dentists. Become more knowledgeable about holistic health and healing than most medical doctors who have graduated from medical school without spending hundreds of thousands of dollars and years of time in expensive medical schools or programs. Build a health coaching business that will allow you to work from home and achieve time, location, and financial freedom. Arukah.com empowers people to become the healers of their home and their community by equipping them with naturopathic herbalism, health coaching, and online business and marketing skills. My name is Mayim. I'm 42 years old and a homeschool mom of 7 beautiful children. These 2 in the photo are my October babies. I became a naturopathic herbalist and health coach in order to take charge of my family's health when the modern medical system kept failing us. We were spending thousands of dollars on insurance and other medical expenses, but they did not have any answers for our health problems. Working from home has been such a blessing for us. I used to work at the NASA Ames Research Center as a computer scientist/engineer. But being able to have an online business has enabled me to surpass my income at NASA and to be there for my family, homeschool them, take care of them, watch them grow up every step of the way for 18 years now. I started Arukah.com in 2009 to help people become healthy and heal themselves. I've coached all sorts of people, and eventually even medical doctors and nurses started coming to me repeatedly for help for various health issues for themselves or their loved ones. I help people heal themselves of serious diseases such as cancer, heart disease, and high blood pressure, diabetes, as well as other common issues such as hormone imbalances, abnormal bleeding, migraines, eczema, kidney stones, gallstones, cataracts, and even urinary tract infection. Various people began asking me to start teaching what I know about holistic health and healing, including 2 medical doctors who have become very good friends of mine. When I realized that there was such a demand for the knowledge I have that even medical doctors were telling me to teach, I shifted the focus of Arukah.com, and now we teach people how to become confident healers through our Naturopathic Herbalist and Health Coach certification program. We help people become healers of their home and community and create profitable online health coaching businesses. If you're interested in becoming a holistic healer, please visit our website, Arukah.com, ARUKAH.com. Again, that's ARUKAH.com. Hope to see you there.